I'm Rick Johansson, and this is the Iron Echo Design Channel. Today we're going to work on building custom minimalist map art using Inkscape and an open source platform called OpenStreetMaps. And these are two examples I've done in the past. You can use any location you want. I've got my hometown, Boston, Massachusetts, and a place I'd rather be, Cancun. But for this tutorial, we're going to go back to a location we visited in the past lesson. So choose your create and edit text objects. I have it set to Arial Bold. It's a very common font, but you can choose any font you want in the end. And we're going to go back to Santa Monica. So Santa Monica. What I want to do to make this tutorial go faster is I'm making the label right now. Then we're going to make the interior, this area for the map, and then the outside area we'll call the poster box. So there's Santa Monica. Go back to your text, and I'll do California, USA. And we'll come back to that later. Now let's make this interior map box. So choose your create rectangles, move to this new space. Now you can make it any size, shape, dimension you want. You can make a nice long map, you can make a rectangle, perfect square. In this case, I actually have a set dimension I want to use. And if you want to follow along, choose your selector tool. Up here lets you type in the exact dimensions you want. So if you're playing along at home, it's 810 width and then 1065 for the height. And if you can't see on the screen capture, I have it preset for millimeters. You might be on pixels, but if you're following along, it's 810 width and 1065 height. Okay, now let's make this outside box. I call it the poster box. So choose your rectangle tool again. Let's zoom out. Make a bigger one. You can be inaccurate now because then we're going to punch in the exact dimensions. So for width on this one, it's 860 millimeters, and for the height, 1315. Enter. Now, so we can find this easier later, I'm going to add a fill. So we go to the fill and stroke menu. If you don't have it, it's this paintbrush in the corner. Go to fill, add fill, black. We don't need black. Let's just go to something like neutral, just so we can remember that this is the outside poster. And now let's bring on top the map box, what we're calling the map box. Okay, it wants to slide underneath. So this is the hierarchy, this book looking thing. So choose, make sure you have it selected, and then choose up one. And now it is going to be on top. And let's add a fill to that just so for simplicity. Let's make that white. And then zoom in and center it a little bit just for a rough estimate. And there you see what's happening. We're making the poster. It's just blank. I can bring in Santa Monica, or we can just write Antarctica and be done. But no, let's do the fun part. The fun part is OpenStreetMap. So let's pull it up. Here it is. This is an open source tool. It's free, and it provides you with the real data from streets and maps all over the entire world. And you can actually select the area you want and then download it. In this case, we need it as an SVG file. And that just means it's a vector format that we can manipulate inside of Inkscape. So that's the whole reason we went here. So let's choose, this is Boston right now, but I want to go to Santa Monica. There it is, preset, go. If this is the first time you're using the program, this humanitarian view is actually looks really nice already. But this one you can't download. The one that we can actually take is standard. Now we can look around and it gets really detailed as you zoom in. You can see the park, you can see this track. But when you're doing a minimalist map, at least what I find, is you want to zoom in or focus in on some part of the map that people might recognize. It'll still look cool if it's just a bunch of streets. But in this case, I'm going to focus in on Santa Monica Pier. Not too much, because I want to get some ocean, some of the town. But let's just create, this is all personal preference. I'm going to create a slice of the map, and then we're going to modify it in Inkscape. Now, I want to give you a warning. The more I've played with OpenStreetMap, and I'm so grateful for what they provide, the more I've learned that when you're downloading an SVG, even when we're going to isolate a small slice, for some reason, it will take with it a giant portion of the ocean, and it's going to make the scale in Inkscape look crazy. You'll see what I mean. So to actually take out a slice, you want to choose share, and then we're going to set custom dimensions. SVG, that's the file we need, so we can actually mess around with it in Inkscape. And there's two ways you can change your highlighted area. You can move the corners, Or if you see all these dots, that lets you move the whole thing as one. And I think I want to go right about here. Let's bring this in a little bit to around 4th Street somewhere. And I like it right there. For scale, I push 1, enter, out of habit, and then I think we're ready to go. So download. This might take a little bit. I might just cut back in. Okay, it downloaded. It came in at 13 megabytes, not too bad. That's why you have to kind of work with it a little bit. Otherwise, when the file is too big, Inkscape just will keep crashing. So let's go back into Inkscape. I'm going to pull in the file. And it's going to ask me, do you want to include the SVG image as editable objects? Yes, that's the whole point. DPI for rendered SVG, I've been choosing 50. And then for image rendering mode, I've been going with blocky, optimized speed. And you'll see in a minute, building the custom maps is really fun, but it has a tendency to crash Inkscape. So save and save often because we're going in hot. Okay. You see what I mean? We are deep in the ocean. There is some type of island. Is that Alcatraz? No, that'd be San Francisco. Let's zoom. Let's look. We got to find our map. There it is. So this is the giant ocean. And then OpenStreetMap gave us this is what we're looking for. Deep, deep in the zoom is our Santa Monica. Look at that. Now it's time to take the parts of this map out so it can be a minimalist map. And the first thing that has to go is the ocean. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and I'm going to try to just select on the blue ocean. Looks like I have it, and then push delete. There we go. Now we can take out this gray box too. So I'll select on the gray box, delete that, and let's zoom out a little bit and see what we're working with here. I like that. I like that a lot. We need to rotate this though, because when we make it into a poster or however you're going to use it, you don't want to have it like crooked like this. And if you just click on it, you'll select one little item, because remember, this is a vector. You can grab anything out of it. So we need to zoom out a tiny bit and then get your selector tool, go into no man's land and grab the whole thing. And it's time for a whole lot of blue like that. Now don't worry, this is the nastiest we're going to get in this tutorial. Just click somewhere on the beach and then that gives you your little handles. And then it's not going to render as I turn because it's just thinking so much. But if we give it a second, it's going to then rotate it for us. And I'll edit this if it takes too long, or if it crashes, we'll start over. Okay, we did not crash and we are nearly aligned properly. So click off of your item and there it is. Let's get to work and clean this thing up. So zoom in a little bit. I'm going to show you a tool that is a lifesaver, time saver, and we need it. So we do not need the parking garages on our minimalist map. So you want to go to, actually first click on one of the parking garages, just the P, then go to edit, select same, and then fill. It's going to take all those parking garages, these random dots, and then just delete. Gone. And then I don't need my shopping center icon. So click on the purple. And then just a trick is sometimes they're a stroke, sometimes it's a fill. This one looks like it's a fill. If you go on your fill and stroke menu, it's set to fill, it shows purple. So I know I clicked the right thing. I'll go to my edit, select same, fill, and then just get rid of those. I don't need the theater district. I mean, you could save some of the stuff, but I do not need it. I don't need all the movie theaters in Santa Monica to be on my minimalist map. Edit, select same, and that is a fill. Bye-bye. Let's zoom out a little bit, and too much. And I want to start to work in a bigger scale here. I don't want all of this colors on top of each other. When you're making a minimalist map, we'll just kind of like wash it out. So I want some more contrast. So I don't need anything that is the stroke color black. So I'm going to go to one of the words, and then you see how it says it's a fill, even though it looks like it's a letter. I'm going to go to the same tool, edit, select same, fill. Actually, let's do fill and stroke. Let's see what happens if we just try to dump all of it out of there. Select same, fill and stroke. Well, we definitely got rid of something. So I'm going to save, because I'm going to save and save off, and let's zoom out and see how much we took out of that on that one. We got all the street signs out. This is looking better, but I still don't want all of these. I don't want these houses here. So let's just click on one of these, and then we'll go, that looks like that is a fill with a stroke around it. But let's just try it again. So it's select same, fill, and stroke. Let's see what it picks. It's picking a lot of stuff. It's picking a lot. Delete. Oh, it's going faster. See, the more that you delete, the faster Inkscape can work. And I can actually move this almost in real time now. And let's see. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I like the streets. I don't know if I want all this congestion in the center. I'm going to get rid of the pink. So click on the pink. That is a fill. Select same, fill color. Get rid of that. Zoom out. Getting there, getting there, getting there. Do we want this gray? Do we want it? Do we want it? No, I do not. Click on the gray, edit. You're going to get tired of me saying this. Fill color, delete. Okay, that looks cool. I like what we got going on here. And then I need to get rid of these words randomly. Another way you can delete, if you didn't know that select same, you can hold shift and then make a box. This is called a dragon box. And then see how it just collected all that stuff, delete. It's called a dragon box because you drag and make a box. That is a full-fledged dad joke. You get the picture, so you can clean it up to your preference, but the next effect we're going to do really does tie it together. But just as we clean things up at the end, I'll do shift, I'll get rid of the highway marker, zoom out a little bit, and before I go to the next level, I need to pull out the beach because I use that at the end. You'll see what we're going to do. So click on the beach and then just drag it away. Oh, that was like some type of texture. Delete that. Take the beach and pull it away. There you go. Okay, so the beach is now safe. I need the beach to be separate because now I'm going to group the remainder part just so it's its own area. We know how to do that. Object, group, get out of there. And then we're going to put an effect because for the minimalist look we're going for, it's going to be more like a grayscale. So click on it anywhere now. It's all together. Then you can go to Filters, Colors, Grayscale. And this, you go to Live Preview and you play with it. This is preset because I did this earlier. I like it this way, but normally you can change the lightness up and down. But this is the style I like. I like to have some strong darks, and I also like to have some grayscale. So it's meant to be contrasting the black on the white, but I like my beach. You'll see why in a second. So apply, close. Personally, I like the pop of color. So we're going to put our own ocean back in there. So I'm going to just randomly make, with my Bezier pen, a shape that's going to actually hide beneath all this. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exact. Just needs to be roughly not as huge as the ocean that came with the SVG file from OpenStreetMap. Thank you again. So I've got my Bezier pen built a shape. Let's go to fill. And I want to go with, I don't know, some type of blue. Let's go deeper blue. Maybe a little more. Let's try that. All right, so take it down a notch so I get my beach back. See how my Santa Monica Pier just popped up. And then where's my beach? Go to the bottom. There's my beach. All right, let's zoom in and put it all together. So the beach is coming back in place. Should snap in because it's the original. There we go. But now seeing the ocean and the beach together, I'm not liking the blue. So click on the ocean. Let's go more teal, brighter. And then I need to have a little bit more orange. Let's go too orange. Like that. Now that's Santa Monica. And it's all, the shape's wrong. So now remember what we started with in the beginning? Let's save, and save off. And let's group this whole thing and see if we can bring it closer. So object, group, zoom out. And will you look at that? Our original poster and then the map box is here. So click on that. We need to ungroup it if it's grouped, but it's already ungrouped. And I am going to bring this over. We're now going to clip out of the map what we want to put on our final product. So I'll lower the opacity so I can see what I'm doing. And look at that. That is a nice looking map. Actually, before we clip it out, I want to duplicate it. So Control D will duplicate it. And I want to move that aside for now. You'll see why. So click back on your box, click on your map, object, clip, set. And there we go. So before I can mount it though, I'm going to put this thing back, and we're going to have this just as a contrast on the white because it's going to sit on a white poster. Yeah, so first let's get it back to full opacity, and I'll put it on the bottom. And then I don't need the stroke. So stroke style, stroke paint, get rid of it. But I do want it to have some type of a fill. So click fill, and then that's too dark. I want it almost non-existent, just a touch. Like that looks good. I actually tweaked it a little bit more, but now we can finish up. So let's grab the whole thing, object group, just to make sure, click off of it. And then I'm going to bring it on top of this is the poster board, I call it. So right now the poster needs to go down. Inkscape is kind of starting to slow down, so I might just get this thing centered off camera and then come right back to you. I'm back and it's centered. I redid the font a little bit, and the reason I keep it off white in the beginning is so you can see what you're working with. So I'll click on this and then I'll go to align, last selected, center that, and it's time to finishing touches. We'll click on our poster board that I call fill and stroke. We'll get the fill, make that a pure white, and then we don't need the stroke anymore at all. And let's group the whole thing together. Object group, and you have got yourself a minimalist map that we made ourselves in Inkscape that you can bring onto your virtual wall like this, or you could save, export, and print it out in real life and hang this beautiful piece of artwork at home. So I got a link in the description for OpenStreetMap if you want to play with it, and thanks.